Welcome back to the You Are Immeasurable podcast, season 3. This season is going to be dedicated to those of us that are on our journey of healing and transformation. The focus of this season is going to be to identify and recognize healthy and unhealthy relationship dynamics. We're going to talk a lot about the spiritual tools that we'll need to become acquainted with to help us to stand, to operate in, and to flourish as our authentic self. Things like shadow work, energy healing, which will help us to shred or shed the guilt, the shame that we've been carrying, and also to do some much needed subconscious reprogramming. Now, as always, the episodes are going to air weekly, and the purpose of them is to support you as you embrace and become acquainted with your enlightened and untethered higher self. So I want you to grab your water, your juice, your wine, or your tea or your coffee, and let's toast to each other and our growth, our elevation, and abundance. In today's episode, I want to talk about the concept or the title of connection loading. And let me tell you where I got this. So now that we have all of these streaming services, have you ever been watching your show and you are completely engrossed in it and just, on pins and needles waiting for the next thing to happen, and then it starts buffering? Is that not the most irritating, annoying, make you want to damn near lose your shit occurrence? Let's think about that when it comes to connection, because even in that instance, there's an issue with the connection, right? It's either your internet connections or your subscription connection. It could be a lot of different things that are causing the pause, that are causing you not to be able to see the progression in what's coming next. It's a pause in going forward from the scene that you're on or the frame that you're in to the next one. So let's think about that, get that visual in your head and think about that when it comes to the connections that you have in your life. Because here's the thing, and we've been talking about this for a while, and we probably will continue to talk about it. As far as your past, those that have come into your life but did not stay, those that came into your life to teach you something, those that came into your life to help you to experience something, and now they're no longer there. And then the residue that they leave when they go, and how we deal with that, how we process it, how we compartmentalize it, or whatever it is that you do, how you do whatever it is that you do. But with the concept of that connection, buffering or loading, or for my fellow business owners, when things are happening, say on Zoom, for example, you get to that point where somebody's talking or you're talking, and all of a sudden the screen freezes. And so you don't know what they heard. You don't know, if it's you that froze, you don't know what they heard, what they didn't hear. So you may have to repeat some things. Or if it's on the other side, you don't know necessarily when it pops back in what you missed during that time that they were frozen. Because some of the times we don't even know that we're frozen, right? Again, on these Zoom meetings, usually when somebody freezes, everybody's in the chat saying, hey, you're frozen. Hey, you're frozen. Hey, you're frozen. And a lot of times when it's you, you'll get that message on your screen or on your device or what have you that says connection unstable or internet connection unstable. So all of these things apply to our connections. And they apply in a way that, especially when it's a connection that we shouldn't have or we shouldn't be continuing, but we don't want to let it go we'll start running into these periods of stagnation, these periods where we're trying to figure out why we can't move forward. We're trying to figure out why nothing is falling into place or nothing is flowing the way that we envisioned or that we think it should or that we want it to. We're trying to figure out, okay, what's the kink in the chain here? Where's the link broken? What is going on and why is this happening? Think about it like that message you get when someone is frozen. Something's unstable. Somewhere something's not syncing up. Something is not aligned. And that's in the instance of, there being an issue with the connection, right? Because in some instances, the connection is great. The connection is everything that you need at that particular moment. And everything is flowing fine as far as you receiving the information or the information being available to you, the information being provided to you. And for whatever reason, you are not in the place where you're accepting of that information. Or if it's something that maybe you're not ready to hear yet, you don't quite understand it, and you're kind of like, okay, well, wait a minute. I don't get it. I don't get it. Or you're like a baby. All of us that have children know that all little ones go through that Y stage because they're learning, right? They're absorbing, they're processing, they're, gaining. Everything is an adventure for them. And so they want to know why. Well, why this? Well, why that? Well, mommy, why this? Well, daddy, why that? And at first it's cute. At first it's cute. But after a while, like you can definitely get to the point. If you ask me why one more time. So when it comes to our connections, there's several different, I'm gonna say, stages that you can fall into the category of that connection is loading or in the, like with my Netflix example, is buffering. Is it, you got that, what is it? Oh, you got that circle in the middle and it's just spinning and spinning and spinning. And you're like, oh, come on now. We go through that at various times on our journey to becoming the better or the best version of ourselves. There's going to be times and there's going to be periods when things are buffering or your connection is still loading because everything's not aligned yet. Everything is not in sync yet. And again, when I say everything, I mean regarding that particular, situation or whatever at that particular moment, because this can apply to many, many different things. But I also want you to understand that just because it may be buffering, just because it may be loading, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And again, as with the Netflix example, it can get frustrating. It can get annoying. And something that I've noticed that sometimes I do, or rather I have two attitudes when that happens, if you will. I have one attitude when I know I remembered to pay the bill, so there should be no reason that, it doesn't work, or the reason it's not working doesn't have anything to do with me. So my attitude is more like, okay, what the hell is going on? Why is this not working? They raggedy and all that, and this, that, and the other. And there's another attitude I have when I don't remember if I paid it or not. Because then it's more of like anxious, right? It's, oh shit, damn, did I pay it? When is it due? What's today? Let me check my account, see if it came out. It's two totally different things. But at the same time, the product is the same, right? because when that connection is loading, it's building up, right? It's building momentum. You ever watch like something buffering, say if you're on your computer and at the bottom, the progress bar, you'll see it where it's loading out, you've got the little gray behind the red or the blue as it's going across. And so you see, oh, okay, so it's downloading, it's updating and all that. And so you're watching that because you know that at any moment, once it gets to wherever it's trying to get to, it's going to start playing. So I want you to look at it from the standpoint of your progress and that there's work being done behind the scenes. There's a download coming in. There's a new energy coming in. There's a new way of looking at things coming in. There's a new excitement in your walk that's downloading, that's coming in. When we talk about the law of attraction and we realize that how we think about things, that is what we're drawing. And so there's always that period in between you saying what you're trying to manifest and you seeing it. It's always that loading period in the middle. It's that buffering period in the middle where you're just kind of waiting and you're kind of anxious and you want to see. And even though yes, you believe it, you know it's going to happen. You've got this going in your thoughts. You've got your mantra going. You're saying it out of your mouth. You're believing it in your heart. You're walking in that thing, even though you have not seen it materialize yet, you still believe it. And so there's an attitude that you have. It's kind of like the one I have when I know I paid that Netflix bill. Like, why my stuff ain't here? Why it ain't working? Why it ain't playing? Why it ain't progressing? Right? As opposed to that one where you're like, did I pay it? When was it due? I can't remember. So as we are evaluating our previous connections, our present connections, and also anticipating the connections that we are going to make in the future, I want you to be mindful and I want you to decide now the attitude that you want to have when you experience those loading moments or those buffering moments, those waiting to download moments, that it's on the way moment. Decide now. What do you want? How do you want your attitude to be? How do you want to conduct yourself during those times and those periods? Because they're going to happen. They're going to happen in business. They're going to happen in life. They're going to happen if you work a 9 to 5, they're going to happen in your career. If you're in a relationship, any kind of relationship, you're going to have those moments. You're going to have those periods. And you can decide right now, today, how you want to respond to those situations, to those periods, to those time frames. Because going back to the Netflix example, it could be a 5-second buffer, could be a 10, 15-minute buffer. But remember, even with that, think about it. When it's a long buffering, sometimes we automatically think, okay, well, I can just close it out, come back in, and then it should work. Sometimes that works, right? But sometimes it doesn't. And those times that it doesn't, what happens? It makes your wait even longer. So it might have been just a 5-minute buffer, well, because you done closed it out, got up, went to the bathroom, came back, opened it in. Now you at 20, 30 minutes of waiting. So I want to encourage you not to make any rash decisions, not to make any reactive decisions, but I want you to decide today how you want to respond to those times. What do you want your attitude to be? What are the things that you've already decided that you're going to use to encourage yourself during those times, during those waiting periods, during those loading times, during those buffering moments? Because you can make the decision. It's completely up to you. It's completely up to you. Like I said a moment ago, when it comes to the law of attraction, which everybody's into, everybody's talking about, everybody's trying to figure out the trick to, it starts with your thoughts. It starts with your mind. It starts with the decisions that you make. And so I'll leave you with just an encouragement for those times. It's loading, so it's coming. It's buffering, so it's just trying to catch up to you. It's just a pause. It's not a full stop. It's not a break. It's not a no. If I didn't already say that, doesn't mean it's over. Doesn't mean that there's nothing else after this moment. Because there absolutely is more. There absolutely is more. It's more growth. It's more abundance. It's more love. It's more joy. It's more happiness. It's more alignment to come after the loading. Okay? Until next time, cheers to your transformation. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the You Are Immeasurable podcast. Please remember to subscribe so that you can be notified whenever new episodes are dropped. Also, I'd love to have your feedback and your comments as well as your 5-star rating. Additionally, if you'd like to connect with me, the show notes list all of my social media handles so that you can do so. So until next time, thank you so much and cheers to your transformation.